When one hears the name sloth bear for the first time, it can be quite puzzling to imagine what this animal looks like. The picture that perhaps comes to mind is that of a sloth, an arboreal mammal known for spending most of its life hanging upside down from a tree and chewing its food at an incredibly slow pace. You might have also seen the hilarious portrayal of this mammal depicted in the popular animated movie, Zootopia. In reality, this sloth is quite different from the sloth bear, which is the topic of our account today. The sloth bear is a myrmecophagous bear species native to the Indian subcontinent. They primarily eat termites and ants, and have also been called labiated bears because of their long lower lip and palate used for sucking insects. Their long lower lips can be stretched over the outer edge of their noses and lack upper incisors, thus allowing the bears to suck up large numbers of insects. Sloth bears have long, shaggy fur, a mane around the face, and long, sickle-shaped claws. Their fur is completely black, rusty for some specimens, with a whitish Y or V-shaped mark on the chest. The fur does not have an undercoat, thus keeping sloth bears cool in the tropical climate and protecting them from insects. Sloth bears are generally solitary animals. However, they are sometimes seen in pairs. They are nocturnal, though females become more active in the daytime when with cubs. Sloth bears do not hibernate. They make their daybeds out of broken branches and trees and rest in caves during the wet season. Sloth bears walk in a slow, shambling motion, but are capable of galloping faster than running humans. Although they appear slow and clumsy, sloth bears are excellent climbers. They may climb to feed and to rest, though not to escape enemies, as they prefer to stand their ground. The sloth bear of Mysore was an unusually aggressive Indian sloth bear, responsible for the deaths of at least 12 people and the mauling of 24 others in 1957. Cases of attacks on people happen quite frequently in India, but only one individual ate his victims. Some stories about this bear sound like typical legends. One of them says that a male sloth bear kidnapped a girl, treating her as his chosen one. The girl was saved by the inhabitants of Mysore, one of the biggest cities in India. It is said that later attacks on people were revenge for the girl's escape. A more probable version claims that the dangerous sloth bear was actually a female, whose cubs were killed by humans. Both stories have a common core: a desire for revenge. Interestingly, the sloth bears are not big. The largest males weigh between 80 and 192 kilograms, and females, with whom we probably were here, from 55 to 124 kilograms. Considering the achievements of the relatively small sloth bear, we can imagine what devastation could be caused by the grizzly bear, or Kodiak bear. The bear began its attacks in the Nagvara Hills, east of the town of Arsakiri, 105 miles northwest of Bangalore and Mysore State. It made its home in the numerous boulder-strewn hillocks, from whence it could come down to forage in the fields. As its boldness increased, it began harassing people in both daylight and nighttime hours. In typical sloth bear fashion, the animal attacked its victims' faces with its claws and teeth. Those who survived its attacks usually lost one or both eyes, some of their noses, while others had their cheeks bitten through. Those who died often had their faces completely torn from their heads. At least 3 of the victims had been partially eaten. The bear's depredations first came to the attention of Kenneth Anderson when an aged Muslim friend of his named Alam Buck sent him a postcard, urgently asking him to come to his home, a shrine situated between Arsakiri and Shimoga. Buck's 22-year-old son had been fatally mauled by the bear at 9 p.m., having unintentionally disturbed it while it was feeding on fallen figs. Anticipating an easy hunt, Anderson did not come prepared for a long trip, having brought with him for the hunt just an electric torch, a .405 Winchester rifle, and a single change of clothes. Arriving at the shrine early in the evening, Anderson planned to wait until darkness to shoot the bear. Starting his search near fig trees, Anderson walked for 1.5 miles without spotting the bear. He then unsuccessfully searched groundnut fields before finally returning to the shrine. Anderson made 2 subsequent tours during the night, both of which proved unsuccessful. At noon the next day, Anderson was taken to the mouth of what was thought to be the bear's cave. After throwing stones into the crevice with no results, Anderson returned to Bangalore, asking Bucks to inform him by telegram should the bear attack again. 1 month later, 2 woodcutters in Sakrapatna, a small town between Chikmagalur and Kadur, were seriously mauled by the bear, one fatally. Anderson was contacted by the district forest officer of Chikmagalur, who requested that Anderson come and shoot the bear. Anderson requested precise coordinates for the bear's whereabouts, and was answered 10 days later that the bear lived in a hillock 3 miles from the town, near a footpath leading to a lake called the Ayankir. It was also revealed that the bear had since mauled the forest guard during a regular patrol. Anderson left for Chikmagalur and set up his headquarters in a small house owned by the Mysore Forest Department. At 4:30 the next afternoon, a man rushed to the bungalow, stating that the bear had mauled his brother, a cattle grazer near the hill where the bear allegedly had his lair. Setting forth with a rifle, a torch, and 3 or 4 helpers, Anderson journeyed 6 miles into the jungle for an hour and a half before coming across a heavily scrubbed hill. The helpers refused to accompany him any further, and Anderson followed the general directions given by the victim's brother regarding the attack's location. After searching for a while through the thick brush, Anderson heard the faint moans of the victim, whom he found lying at the foot of a tree, unconscious and severely mutilated. Realizing that the man was dying, Anderson carried him for a short distance before spraining his ankle and collapsing. The victim died at 5 in the morning, and Anderson was found later by forest officials and a dozen villagers. He was hospitalized at Chikmagalur for a week before resuming the hunt. During Anderson's absence, the bear had mauled 2 men along the path of Ayankir Lake. Anderson arrived at Sakrapatna, where he was told that the bear had taken to visiting some fields bordered by borum trees, a mile from the village. Anderson arrived at the site at 5 p.m. and spent the night at the foot of the largest tree, hoping that the bear would come. At roughly 11 p.m., Anderson heard the bear digging for roots in the distance, and an hour later, it approached the borum tree. Anderson shone his torch at the bear, which reared up on its hind legs in alarm. Anderson then shot it in the chest. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. You can also leave a comment with what you would like to see in the following videos. Thanks for watching. See you next time.